I had a power cut, students. So we are going to start the session one more time, and we are going to start from the beginning. Just do let me know if I am audible and visible. Okay. Yes. All right. Everybody, are you here? Okay, everybody. So there was some issue in that session. So we'll start from the very beginning again. Okay, that session has got unlisted now. So are we ready? Yes, I can see a day with Nishant's, Laksh. I can see Laksh. I can see again. Yeah. So this is my brief introduction. If you can see, I am Namrata, and I have loads and loads of ninja techniques for to share with you all. Okay, be it any chapter, today's chapter also, other chapters also, and there will be a separate series also you'll be seeing on this channel, which is like solve in seconds using ninja technique. Okay. Yes, you can start this session ITF from the very scratch. We are going to start. You just need to know the sine theta, cos theta, basic trigonometry. If you know now basic trigonometry, then this session is this session would be very useful for you. Also, ITF, if I talk about the JEE Main perspective of inverse trigonometric functions, see, not 100% chances that direct question will be there, okay, from ITF. ITF will always get clubbed together with other chapters such as functions, such as differentiation, okay, and integration also. Basically, in calculus, ITF, the basics of ITF will be utilized everywhere, okay. So basically the ITF will be combined with other chapter questions. That's what I wanted to say. So are we ready? Are we ready to dive into ITF chapter? We'll start again, okay, from the beginning, because that stream I have unlisted, made it private. So we have to start it from the beginning, from the top. Yes, if you have backlog Aday with Nishant's, you can do it, okay? Domain. So what does that mean? This is an bijective and the function should be invertible. The function should be invertible, right? So now if I go by inverse trigonometric function, if I go by this thing which is inverse trigonometric function, so we see that trigonometric function, if I talk about suppose sin x, is sin x a 1 and onto function? Let's see, okay. So is sin x and other trigonometric function invertible? So sin x graph. Can you see sin x graph? So clearly, if I go by f of x is equals to sin x, if f is from R to R. So the very first thing, horizontal line test if I draw, I will realize that, oops, HLT says that this is not at all. This is not at all a 1-1 function. This is a many-one function. Okay, so first thing is this is a many-one function. And you know what? One more problem is that the range of sin x, okay, range of sin x is from -1 to 1. So range is not equals to codomain. So what does that mean? This is an onto function, sorry, into function as well. So it is neither 1-1 nor onto. So that's the big trouble. Then why there is a whole complete chapter inverse trigonometric function if inverse doesn't even exist? So what do we do in that? We make the sin x. Now we make our sin x 1-1 also as well as onto also. How? Just see. Suppose So now what we are going to do is f in such a way that this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, to r is minus 1 to 1. So we have restricted the domain. Earlier for sin x, for generic sin x, if you see, your domain is what? All real values. But now this time I have restricted the domain. I have selected first and fourth quadrant, because in first quadrant sin x is positive. In fourth quadrant sin x is negative. Remember ASTC rule. Okay, so I have selected first and fourth quadrant. Ma'am, why not first and second quadrant? Because you know what? You want two quadrants, and those two quadrants should give you all the possible values. If you select first quadrant, positive values you will get. Now your choice is either second or fourth quadrant. So second quadrant will give you what? Sin x positive. So here also you are going to get same values. Here also you are going to get same value. You want variety. You want all possible values. That's why fourth quadrant. So minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 f of x is equals to sin x over here, right? Now, okay, now understand this, that minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, so graph of sin x will look like this, right? This is your minus pi by 2, this is your pi by 2, and this is your plus 1, this is your minus 1. Okay, all right, clear everybody? So now tell me this function, if you do horizontal line test, it is a 1-1 function, number one. And now what is the range of this sin x? Ma'am, range, it is very obvious that minus 1 to 1, and my codomain, this is a customized codomain. So my codomain and range is also matching. So now this function is 1-1 as well as on 2. Okay, so hence this function is bijective, or you can call it as invertible, and hence we can now study inverse trigonometric function in that manner. Okay, so now all the 6 inverse trigonometric functions, sine inverse, cos inverse, everything which you are going to see in this manner we are going to study. Okay, so shall we study sine inverse x, graph of sine inverse, graph of cos inverse? Okay, so yes, now understand, this is my f of x is equals to sin x. F of x is what? Equal to sin x, correct everybody? Okay, so restricted domain you can see minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, and range is minus 1 to 1. This over here you can see is the graph of sin x. This is graph of what? Y is equals to sin x. Okay, now what do you want? You want inverse. So now inverse is f of x is equals to sin inverse x. So understand what will change. Fx is equals to sin x. Here sin x will be angle. Okay, and fx will be the value minus 1 to 1. But inverse trigonometric function, this x will be from minus 1 to 1, and fx will be angle, which is what? Minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So range and domain will interchange. Remember, we studied this when we were studying inverse relation also. Inverse relation, R inverse. That range and domain gets interchanged when we talk about inverse function, right? So here can you see restricted domain and range? Now this will get flipped. So domain, that is sine inverse, will have minus 1 to 1, and here angle fx you will get minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Now see, this is the graph. Can you see this is minus pi by 2 on x-axis? We have minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 on y-axis, minus 1 and 1. So this is the graph of sin x. But now I want to plot the graph of sine inverse x. I want to plot the graph of sine inverse x. Okay. So now understand, my graph will look like what? So over here, if you see, sin x you have, y is equals to x line. Y is equals to x line. Now your inverse graphs are mirror image about y is equals to x line. So you have to take mirror image of y is equals to sin x about which line? Y is equals to x. So sin x, y is equals to x. Now start taking mirror image. See, understand. First of all, this is what? Pi by 2, you are getting 1. So now this will be a reverse thing. X is equals to pi by 2, y is equals to 1. So here, x is equals to 1 and y will be equals to pi by 2 for my inverse function. Okay, then same thing. On sin x, you can see when x is minus 1, when x is minus pi by 2, y is minus 1. But here x will be minus 1 and y will be minus pi by 2. Correct? So these are the 2 points which will lie on my sin inverse x graph. Now start taking, see, consider this as mirrors, you have to take the image. Okay, so start taking this. It will go like this. It will meet at 1 and now it will go like this. Can you see that this graph over here, this yellow graph is nothing but y is equals to sin inverse x. Everybody getting it? This yellow graph? Okay. So I'll show you now, I'll delete everything and I'll show you the final graph of sin inverse x. It will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. This is 0, 0 and this is, see now understand, sin inverse 1 is what? Pi by 2. Sin inverse 0 is what? 0. And sin inverse minus 1, tell me what will happen? Sin inverse minus 1 will be what? Minus pi by 2. This graph is very important and you know what? The sample paper CBSE has released, has the very first, if you go and check that PDF out, the very first MCQ is this graph only, this graph. Okay. I think that there is something wrong with this. Shall I make this like this or not? What is happening? Is it better now? Or shall I zoom it a bit? Better. Okay. See, so sin inverse 1, sin inverse minus half, can anybody tell me? Let me open the chat. Yes. Sin inverse 1 is what? So we have told pi by 2. Sin inverse pi, by the way, sin inverse pi. Actually, sin inverse minus half. So sin inverse minus half. Tell me the value. Sin inverse minus half. So minus pi by 6. What about sin inverse minus pi? Sin inverse minus pi. Not possible. Not possible. Absolutely. Because you know what? Sin inverse, the domain x should be lying between 1 and minus 1. Right? Then only we'll consider. Okay. Now similar thing, we'll talk about cos inverse, or we'll do one problem. Okay. Find the domain of sin inverse 2x plus 3. Quickly find the domain of sin inverse 2x plus 3. Or for that matter, cos inverse 2x plus 3 also will be the same. Basically, 2x plus 3 will lie between 1 and minus 1. 2x will be minus 2 और उसके बाद minus 4. And then x will be belonging to what? Minus 1 and minus 2. So x belongs to what? Minus 2 comma minus 1. Okay, alrighty, everybody getting it? Now one thing, let's see this graph. I need to analyze it. First of all, can you see, not this one, yes. This graph, can you see, is this an increasing function or decreasing function? Increasing function or decreasing function? This is an increasing function. This is an increasing function, right? So increasing function. Is this a periodic function, by the way? Is this a periodic function? Is this a periodic function? This is a aperiodic function, not periodic, aperiodic, okay? Then tell me, is it an odd function or an even function? So this is an odd function because sin x is also an odd, right? And this is also odd because this is also symmetric about origin, okay? And this is a continuous function. This is a continuous function, okay? All right. Okay, now one, I think Ibu is asking, ma'am, can I write 5 pi by 6? No, you can't write 5 pi by 6. You have to give your answer in this particular range. We have a restricted range, okay? So answer will be absolutely unique. Sine inverse minus half will be absolutely one value, one single value, which should lie between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, okay? Because otherwise this function will be many one, now. If you give minus pi by 6, 5 pi by 6, by the way, 5 pi by 6 is not even considerable because sine 5 pi by 6 is plus half. Okay? Right? So your answer will be 7 pi by 6, but that will not be answer. Why? Because then your function will become what? Then your function will become many one. So that's the whole point. Okay? Now, cos inverse x. Okay? So cos inverse x graph, let me just plot over here. So this is angle on the x-axis and values on the y-axis. So clearly this over here is looking like this. This is the graph of cos x or not? No, no, no. Pi by 2, right? Okay, like that. But you know what? We are going to talk about only first and second quadrant. Why first and second? Acha, tell me. Why we are considering first and second quadrant for cos inverse x? Because see, first quadrant is primary thing. Now we have to think about either second or fourth. Now fourth quadrant cos is positive. So we have to leave fourth quadrant this time. We have to stick to second because in second quadrant cos is negative. So first and second quadrant. So my graph is also first and second quadrant. This is your y is equals to x line, if you can see. Okay, and if you take mirror image, see, this is what? 1, 0. So 0, 1, see, this is 0, 1 will be lying on your cos x. So 1, 0 will lie on cos inverse x. Then you have 0, pi by 2 lying on cos inverse and pi by 2, 0 on cos. Eventually, this is the cos inverse x graph. So this is what? Minus 1, pi, and this is what? Oops, a little bit. This is how it is. Yes. So this point, this is pi, minus 1, and this is what? Minus 1, pi. Can you see the interchange of the points? So if you take mirror image, this is how it will look like. 1, 0 will become 0, 1. Okay. And you know what? This dotted lines, na? So this is how the dotted line will look like. Y is equals to x. Okay. Now cos inverse root 3 by 2. Cos inverse root 3 by 2. Now understand this very nicely. Very easy. Just tell me when cos theta becomes root 3 by 2, ma'am. Root 3 by 2 is 30 degree pi by 6. Okay. Now tell me cos inverse minus root 3 by 2. So ma'am, as you told that we are here talking about first and second quadrant. First quadrant mein values are positive. Second quadrant mein values are negative. So my answer to this will be second quadrant. And in second quadrant, we have learned this in trigonometry, ma'am. It will be pi minus pi by 6. So now this is 5 pi by 6, which is in second quadrant. So cos inverse negative is equals to second quadrant. Cos inverse positive is equals to first quadrant. Agree, everybody? And the output is always, see, in here output will be angle and input will be the values, the standard values or non-standards as well. Okay, everybody getting it? Understanding it? So now this is the cos graph and this is the cos inverse. Okay, all right, yes. Now we have the graph of tan inverse x. Okay, don't worry, you might be feeling, ma'am, so many graphs at once. I will tell you the hack to remember all the graphs in the end. I will give you the hack to remember all the domains and all the range. Just try to understand what is happening one by one, then we'll connect the dots. Okay, now fx is equals to tan x I have plotted over here. Restricted domain is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 and range is all real values. Range to we have fixed now. See, sin inverse, sin x ka range, what is sin x ka range? So sin x ka range is minus 1 to 1, cos x ka range minus 1 to 1. Okay, tan x ka range is minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, alrighty. So now what you want to do is, see, you just need see this wala minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2, this graph, and just take mirror image about this. This is your y is equals to x line. Okay, now take mirror image. So mirror image will be what? Mirror image will be looking like this. Yes or no? This is standing. Now this is sleeping. Okay, so like that. Let me tell you the graph. This is the graph. Okay. So now here tan inverse x, the domain is R, range is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Okay. Now tell me about cos inverse x also. If I go back, cos inverse x you have seen. Can you just tell me the cos inverse x graph? I'll delete it because you already have that graph in this slide. Okay, just tell me. This graph is aperiodic. Aperiodic, yes. This is decreasing also. Decreasing graph. Cos inverse is a decreasing graph, by the way. Okay. And then neither even nor odd. And continuous is there. What about tan inverse graph? Tan inverse graph. So this is what your tan inverse graph will look like. This is an odd function. Increasing function. Aperiodic is there. And continuous though it's there. It seems it is continuous. Okay. All right. Yes. Now find the value of this expression quickly in the chat box. Now you have studied sin inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse. Can you please find the value of tan inverse 1 plus cos inverse minus half plus sin inverse minus half? Shall we solve? So, tan inverse 1. So you need to figure out when exactly your tan theta is 1. Ma'am, tan theta is 1 when theta is pi by 4. See, output is angle. Please make sure now. Things are changed. Cos inverse minus half. So ma'am, you told us that cos inverse positive will be in first quadrant. So suppose half. So cos 60 degree, ma'am, pi by 3. Cos pi by 3 is half. But negative sign, so this is pi minus pi by 3. And sin inverse minus half. Okay, so sin inverse half, tell me what? Ma'am, sin inverse half is 30 degree, pi by 6. Sin inverse minus half will be minus pi by 6. Okay, so now what is going to give you is pi minus, solve it. Pi minus pi by 3 minus pi by 6 is pi by 2 and this is pi by 4. So now pi minus pi by 4, 3 pi by 4. Cot inverse x ready? Ready for cot inverse x? So now cot inverse x graph. First of all, cot x graph. Cot x graph look like this. Okay, so at 0, cot 0 is infinity, cot pi is minus infinity. Okay, so here we are considering first and second quadrant, just like cos. We are considering first and second quadrant, cos, cot. Okay, second quadrant, the range is same, cot inverse. And the domain is all real values. This is y is equals to x line. Okay, so now your graph will look like this. And yes, this is your graph of y is equals to cot inverse x. Let me show it to you. Okay, it is lying completely above the x-axis. Okay, lying completely above the x-axis, 0 to pi. Can you see 0 to pi over here? Yes. So completely above the x-axis. Cot inverse 0. Can anybody tell me? So you need to think when exactly cot theta is 0. Cot theta 0 means tan theta infinity. So it is going to be what? Pi by 2, which is in the domain. Cot inverse 0. Yes? Okay. Now this graph, tell me. Aperiodic? Yes, ma'am. This is what? Decreasing graph? Yes, ma'am. Decreasing. And this is neither even nor odd because it is completely above the x-axis and continuous is there. Okay. Now sec inverse x graph. So y is equals to sec x. So this is the graph of sec x. Okay. Now understand, whenever we talk about the reverse now, what was the domain of cos? Tell me. I mean range, the angle, the quadrant of cos. Ma'am, first and second was the quadrant of cos. So sec also will follow the same thing. But the problem over here is sec x is what? 1 upon cos x. Here cos x cannot be 0. That's why we need to remove this pi by 2. So 0 to pi except pi by 2. The graph will be there in first and second quadrant. So my graph of sec inverse x will be in 0 to pi. Okay, so this is like this over here. Okay, so now if you take y is equals to x, mirror image, it will look like, so it will look like this. Okay, it will look like this. So there will be 1 over here and it will look like this. It will look like this. Let me tell you that this is how it will look like. Okay, so this is how it will look like. Okay, this is sec inverse x graph. 1 to infinity, pi by 2, see, you know you have to remove pi by 2, right? So make that point that pi by 2 will get removed. So this pi by 2 will be asymptote. Now 1 to pi by 2 and minus 1 to pi by 2, like that. Okay, so this is what sec inverse look like. Again, aperiodic, neither even nor odd. Now this is decreasing or increasing. See, this is an increasing graph. See, this is increasing, then this is also increasing and continuous is so there. Okay. Alrighty. And now the last graph which is cosec inverse. Okay. So cosec inverse graph. Now tell me, cosec inverse. So think about sin x. So the graph is cosec x. Basically, we'll first of all observe cosec x. What is wrong with cosec x? Tell me, ma'am. Cosec x wrong means 1 upon sin x. Sin x can never be 0. Sin x is 0 when x is 0. So that means x is equals to 0 is something which you need to remove. Can you see from range 0 is something which we need to remove. That means 0 will be the asymptote now. Okay, 0 will be the asymptote. So this is what? 1 to 0 and this is minus 1 to 0, like that. See, this is 1 and pi by 2. So pi by 2 to 0 you can say, or minus pi by 2 to 0, like that. So 0 will be gone to infinity. Okay. So now you will be actually thinking, acha, cosec inverse 1, can you tell me, ma'am? Cosec inverse 1 is actually same as sin inverse 1, which is pi by 2. And cosec inverse half will be equal to sin inverse half. Tell me, what is the value of cosec inverse? No. Cosec theta half. Sin theta is equals to 2. Not possible. Not possible. Okay. Now, do you know the domain of every trigonometric function? है ना? See, sin x and cos x. Tell me the domain. Domain to I think for sin x and cos x is x belongs to R, but I am talking about the range, only range. Range ma'am, -1 to 1 and -1 to 1. Cos x and sin x. Okay. Oops, sec inverse x is discontinuous, right? Oops, yes. Sec inverse x is discontinuous. And same, cosec inverse is also discontinuous. No, actually, will you do that? I think, no. See, that is actually a something, we will call it as continuous only because, see, continuous in its domain. Continuous in its domain. Okay, when we say continuous word, no, continuous in its domain. And can you see the graph is decreasing? Sin x, cos x. Okay, tan x. Tan x range is all real values, cot x range is also all real values. Then cosec x and sec x. So this is going to become what? The range will be what? Magnitude of y, sorry, mod of y greater than 1. Here also mod of y greater than 1. See, all these range, who is someone who doesn't even remember this range? I think sin x, cos x range, so everybody will remember. Tan x, cot x is cosec, sec. See, understand now, cosec and sec. So, sin x is -1 to 1, no? So, same. Now, cosec x and sec, both will be greater than or equals to 1 and less than or equals to 1. So, that area which sin x and cos x is leaving, no? Cosec and sec will pick that area. 1 to infinity is not allowed in sin x, but 1 to infinity is there in cosec, and vice versa. -1 to 1, no, -1 to 1 we are not taking. So, y belongs to -infinity to -1 union 1 to infinity. Okay, these two values. Now understand, if you can remember this, then I think this particular column will be much easier for you. Okay, domain of sin inverse, domain of cos inverse, same. Domain of tan inverse, cot inverse, same. Domain of cosec inverse and sec inverse will be same. Bolo, domain is done. Anybody having issue? This R is, this one is nothing but -infinity to -1 union 1 to infinity. If you don't want to remember this, you can just go with this one. Now, range of inverse trigonometric function, that means output of inverse trigonometric function is angle. Okay, so I think sin inverse range, you all know that first and fourth quadrant -π/2 to +π/2. Cos inverse, I think you know that it is 0 to pi first and second quadrant. Now tan inverse. See, sin inverse and tan inverse share the same thing except π/2 and -π/2 because of obvious reason. We know that tan π/2 is infinity, so π/2 and -π/2 I have eliminated. Okay, now if you remember these three things, then you know what? Now, cos inverse and cot inverse will share the same thing. See, understand. Here, actually what is happening now? See, sin inverse, tan inverse and cosec inverse. These three are same to same if you see. It's just that because cosec inverse x, so think about this as cosec x, 1 upon sin x. Sin x cannot be 0, so x cannot be 0. So that is why 0 is removed from here. Okay. Otherwise, you will see sin inverse is -π/2, close bracket, tan inverse is -π/2 to π/2, open. I told you the reason of opening. And cosec inverse is -π/2 to π/2, close, same as sin inverse. except 0. Now the rest 3 which are having cot inverse, cos inverse. So cos inverse is 0 to pi. Cot inverse is 0 to pi, open bracket. And sec inverse is 0 to pi, close. See, cos and then sec. Can you see same to same? It's just that because sec is what? 1 by cos and cos cannot be 0. So cos is 0 when 90 degree happens. So 90 degree you have to remove. So these 3 are same. Okay. Now I want all of you to create this chart. Okay. I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds because this is important. If you are going to create this chart once now, confusion will get cleared out. Okay. So 30 seconds you have. Just write sin inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse without watching anything, without taking any help. Just write it down, okay, in your notebook, and so that now you don't have to watch it when we solve problems. I'll come back. I'll fill my water bottle. I'll come back in 30 seconds, okay? Yes, now I am audible. So, yes, I was saying that you must be thinking that, ma'am, so written, everybody written, anybody having issue with domain and range, because I think in inverse trigonometric function, this is the most basic and important thing. Must remember for everyone. I have told you the trick also, no? I have told you the trick also, that how to remember the little things also. Okay, so just in case you don't remember, so just think about, okay. So cosec, acha, tell me, what is the domain of cosec inverse x? Write down without seeing, no cheating. What is the domain of cos inverse x? Without cheating, huh? Domain of cosec inverse x. Domain of cosec inverse x. Domain. Sometimes we get confused with range and domain also. Think about domain. Domain means cosec inverse input. Your input is the value first of all. So it is going to be minus infinity to minus 1 union 1 to infinity. Right? Yes, Kuhan is also writing the same. And what is the range of cosec inverse x? Without seeing, no cheating. Range of cosec inverse x, that means range of inverse trigonometric function is angle. So ma'am, angle you are saying cosec inverse x range is same as sin inverse x, but we need to remove something. So it is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2 close bracket, but except something which is 0. Okay. Now, range of sec inverse x. Tell me. Yes, Gokul. Yes, Kohan. Range of sec inverse x. So, ma'am, hold on. Range of sec inverse x. It is exactly same as cos inverse. So, cos inverse range is 0 to pi close. And sec inverse range is 0 to pi close except pi by 2. Acha. So, what is the range of cot inverse x now? So, cot inverse x range, ma'am, is same as, see, these three are same. Cot, cos and sec. These three are same. So, cot, cos same. Cot inverse, ma'am, 0 to pi, open both sides. Open both sides. Clear? I think now we are getting it. But I know the problem is, ma'am, range and domain, so we are able to remember. But ma'am, please solve our main problem. What is the main issue? Chalo, write down in the chat section. What is your main issue? Ma'am, main issue is sin inverse graph, so we can remember. Cos inverse also we can remember, chalo. But tan inverse, cot inverse, sec inverse, after that we got confused. How many of you feel, ma'am, sin inverse x, I was there with you, I was honest. Then the moment cos inverse happened, then also I was little bit fine. And the moment tan inverse, cot inverse, sec inverse happened, I just felt that, what is ma'am doing? Okay, when this will get over? Hai na? So I am going to give you a ninja technique for that. Okay. Yes. So, acha chalo. One thing to you have to do. Y is equals to sin x, inverse x. Y is equals to sin inverse x. This particular graph to you have to like remember. Okay. So, I think the domain and range is also clear. Sin inverse x. The domain is, ma'am, minus 1 to 1. So, this is, ma'am, minus 1. This is plus 1. Okay. And the range is pi by 2. And minus pi by 2. Okay. All right. Clear? And the graph is looking like what? This. This is your graph, ma'am. This is your graph. Now tell me who is having problem is in plotting this graph. If you forget this graph, ninja trick won't save you. This much effort so you will do. Rest I will take all the things on my shoulder. But sin inverse, so you should remember. Okay. And you know what? Cos inverse also. Cos inverse also. Cos inverse, let me plot it over here. So, y is equals to cot inverse. Okay, ma'am. Cot inverse may, you told that the domain is minus 1 to 1. And the range is 0 to pi. The graph is completely above x-axis. Okay. So now just do one thing now. Tell me, cot inverse x, right? So cot inverse 1, ma'am, cot inverse 1, when cot theta is 1, 0 degree. So this is the point, 0, 1, right? Then ma'am, this is cot inverse 1, cot inverse 0, cot theta is 0, ma'am, pi by 2. So this is the graph. And cot inverse minus 1. So can you see this is the graph? This is the graph, okay? I don't know how many of you studied Hindi, but this is essay like that. F, F, Fur. This is a Hindi word. Fur. Fur. Fur, fur, fur. Can you see the resemblance? Fur. Okay, let me write down. This is fur. How many of you know this fur letter? Hindi fur. So same thing, don't you think? But just this is completely above axis. So that will, so domain and range will give you that idea, no? Domain and range will give you that idea that the graph will be in 0 to pi. So you have to draw this fur. Okay. So just resemblance. Okay. Cot inverse x. Okay. Now the third graph, which is tan inverse, that also you have to remember. And I'll tell you, no, y is equals to tan inverse x. So you'll be like, ma'am, tan inverse x, hold on. Tan inverse x domain is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. And the range is minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. Sorry, domain is minus, sorry, range is, no, range. This is, yes, pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. And minus infinity to plus infinity. Cos or cot? I think it is cos. Yes. Sorry. Cos. Yeah, I'll do that mistake. Okay, tan inverse x. Sorry, this is cos. Primary, only we are plotting the primary thing. Sin inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse. Okay, the rest three will derive. Okay. So now this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, now have you seen that Nag Panchami? Recently Nag Panchami went. Have you seen Nag Panchami? So Nag Panchami pe you have to draw a snake. Snake, okay. This is a snake-like graph. Okay, so you know that pi by 2 pe you will get infinity, right? So snake will look like this. Can you see the snake? Facing towards x-axis. Snake who is pointing towards x-axis. Snake pointing towards x-axis. Okay. Snake pointing towards x-axis. Snake pointing towards x-axis. Okay. And now, so these three graphs, just tell me that, okay, ma'am, little relief we are getting that you are teaching like this. So we can actually draw these three graphs. Now we feel that, okay, drawing these graphs is not as difficult as it seems in the beginning. Okay. But ma'am, what about those three giants, especially sec inverse and cosec inverse, right? So sec inverse and cosec inverse, you know what? What you will do in sec inverse and cosec inverse, you first draw sine inverse. See, you first draw sine inverse. Sine inverse is drawn now. Then you know what you need to do is you just need to do this with sine inverse. And you are done. So this is the y is equals to cosec inverse x, and I told you also 0 is that asymptote. So this is what? Minus pi by 2. This is your 0, pi by 2. 0 is that removed from the range, no? Remember? Cosec inverse range. Minus pi by 2, pi by 2 except 0. So I think this is also done. Same. Now over here, same we'll do with this. Cos inverse, so y is equals to sec inverse. What will you remove, ma'am? Pi by 2 will get removed. So pi by 2 will be the asymptote. So clearly it will be this and it will be this. Pi by 2. Okay. Now this is tan inverse. Now cot inverse. Okay. So cot inverse. Now domain, now tan inverse and cot inverse cannot stay in one graph because of the range. Range of tan inverse is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But range of cot inverse, tell me ma'am, 0 to pi open. You already told me, right? 0 to pi open. But you know what? The snake trick is the same. Here the snake is pointing towards x-axis. Here the snake will point towards, y-axis. the snake will point towards negative x-axis like that. So it will go here till infinity, here also it will extend till infinity. Getting it? Understanding it? Tell me. All the graphs clear, clear, clear? Everybody? Okie dokie? Perfecto. One question will do JEE Main PYQ. Let's do a JEE Main PYQ now. Okay. Let's do a JEE Main PYQ quickly. So domain of this function, what will you do? Ma'am, x minus 1 upon 2x plus 3 is lying between 1 and minus 1. So now you need to solve two inequalities, first and second. Okay. So x minus 1 upon 2x plus 3 less than or equal to 1. Okay. By the way, there is a short trick also, I'll tell you a little later. Or right now, do you want? Acha, theek hai. I'll give you right now only. Right now, shall I give? Because obviously there is so many inequalities, na? Chalo, you solve it out. I'll tell you a little later. I'll give you some time. I think Nitilan is saying 32. Okay. You are already getting it. Okay. So one technique I'll tell you. I will not do that like this. See, you will get a lot of questions in sine inverse complicated expression. This is a typical, what do you say? Typical JEE Main behavior. Huh? That sine inverse big expression, cos inverse big expression. So whenever you see sine inverse of something or cos inverse of something, okay, that's something, let's assume that this is your f of x. Okay, so what you need to do is that expression which is f of x, so fx minus 1 and fx plus 1. Should be less than or equal to 0. Just solve this. One inequality you have to solve. Okay, no need to solve multiple inequalities and then take intersection. No need. Just one thing. Okay. So for that, x minus 1 upon 2x plus 3 minus 1. X minus 1 upon 2x plus 3 plus 1. Less than or equals to 0. Okay, so it is going to give you what? X minus 1 plus minus 2x minus 3 upon 2x plus 3. and x minus 1 plus 2x plus 3 upon 2x plus 3 less than or equals to 0. Okay. So now what you're going to get? Tell me. Ma'am, minus x minus 4. So minus x minus 4. It is going to give you x plus 4 upon 2x plus 3 was already there. Okay, now this is 3x plus 2 whole upon 2x plus 3 less than or equals to 0. Oops, oops, oops. Not less than this time, right? Because see now, minus x minus 4. If you take minus sign out, so this is greater than or equals to 0. Yes? Yes, I have solved this question in row series, but now I am giving you the trick also. I have solved it without the trick. Okay, so 2x plus 3 whole square. Okay, so I think whole square, this is going to be positive. So this is just x plus 4 and 3x plus 2 greater than or equals to 0. The squared quantity I'm going to remove. Okay, so now what we are going to get is minus 4 and minus 2 by 3. So this is how it is. Okay, and 3 by 2, you don't have to write 3 by 2 anyway. So 3 by 2 minus 3 by 2 will lie over here, which is anyway we are not taking. So x belongs to all real values except minus 4 to minus 2 by 3. So this is your alpha, this is your beta. Minus 4 minus 2 by 3, 12 minus 4 minus 2 by 3. So this is what? 4. 4 4 is 16, 32. Easy now? Easy method? Easy method? Easy method, everyone? Yes? Okay. Now, there is some subtopic which is so important for inverse trigonometric function, and that is interconversion of ITF. This is the easiest possible thing which can happen to you. Okay. So tan of cosec inverse root 41 by 4 over here. First of all, whenever you see such like tan, then inside inverse function, so what you have to do is how to solve it. Take this as theta. So cosec inverse, take this as theta. That means cosec theta will be what? Root 41 by 4. And the next step will be, you just have to write tan theta. What do you want? Tan theta. What do you have? Cosec theta. Cosec theta is what? Ma'am, sine is perpendicular by hypotenuse. So this is root 41. This is 4. So 41 minus 4, 36. This is going to be 6. Now what do you want? Tan theta. So tan theta will be what? 4 by 6. Can you see how easily I have calculated? This is 2 by 3. And you know what? These kind of question, like not completely, like not this elementary, but a portion is actually there in your JEE Advanced also sometimes, and JEE Mains maybe they will give. Okay. So will you solve one such question? Will you be able to solve one such question? Okay. So this is one question I would like you to do it. And then we are going to do a JEE Main PYQ based on this particular category also. So now over here you are going to take this as theta. So ma'am, cot theta is minus 3 by 4. And you know what? This is inverse. So now cot inverse minus 3 by 4 output will be 0 to pi. First and second quadrant. So your answer will be what? So cot theta is equals to minus 3 by 4. So this answer will be in second quadrant. This theta will be second quadrant. First of all, theta will lie in second quadrant. Agree or not? If theta will lie in second quadrant, sine theta by 2 is something which you need to calculate. think about it. How will you do that? Okay. Hold on. See, remember one thing. Tell me, cot inverse minus 1. Who can tell me cot inverse minus 1? Cot inverse minus 1. Tell me. Ma'am, cot inverse minus 1 will be, ma'am, in second quadrant. So it will be pi minus cot inverse 1. Can I write like this? Pi minus pi by 4, 3 pi by 4. So pi minus cot inverse 1. So this is the trick which we are going to use right now. This is sine. This is your half already. And this is your pi minus cot of inverse 3 by 4. Can I do that? Especially in cot inverse and cos inverse and sec inverse. These three are same category, right? 0 to pi, 0 to pi, 0 to pi. So I have told you, when cot inverse, cos inverse and sec inverse is negative, so just write pi minus. And if that is positive, directly write the answer. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. Now this is sine of pi by 2 minus 1 by 2 cot inverse 3 by 4. Sine pi by 2 minus theta is cos half cot inverse 3 by 4. Yes, everybody? Now you just put this as theta. So cot inverse, cot theta is equals to 3 by 4. So cot theta is, this is 3, this is 4, this will be 5. What do you want? Ma'am, we want cot theta by 2. Cos theta by 2. Cos theta by 2. Cos theta by 2 is going to be square root of 1 plus cos theta by 2. Yes or no? Basic trigonometry. So it is going to give you what? Tell me. 1 plus. So 1 plus cos is what? 4 by 5. So 1 plus 4 by 5 by 2. Correct? What is going to get? 9 by 10. So 3 by root 10. Have I done anything wrong? Cos is actually 3 by 5, right? This is 3. So 1 plus 3 by 5 by 2. So this is going to give you 8 by 10. 8 by 10 will be what? 4 by 5. So 2 by root 5. Yes, so this is 2 by root 5. Previous question you are also saying that the answer is something else. Previous question the answer will be what? Have I done anything wrong over here as well? Tan theta. Okay, maybe. Sorry. So 41 minus 16 is what? 25. 25 root is 20. So this is 5 only. Oops. So tan theta will be what? 4 by 5. Yes. Here also I have done a calculation. Thank you for correcting. Yes. So this is 4 by 5 and this is now it's correct. 2 by root 5. Just tell me if I can, just give me a green signal that I can move ahead and we can solve a JEE Main PYQ. Okay, Gokul, it's correct now, I think. Just check. Okay, this is the question which I would like all of you to do. This is a JEE Main PYQ. Okay, and this after that we are going to move towards properties of inverse trigonometric functions. We'll see one by one all the properties, and this inverse trigonometric function is all about properties. Okay. So again, this will be taken as theta. So sine inverse root 63 by 8 is theta. Okay. So root 63 by 8 is sine theta. Root 63, 8. So this is going to be 1. And you want tan theta by 4. Oops. Tan theta by 4. Okay. So now what we are going to use is, we are going to use those two formulas. Remember, two gold formulas, trigonometry you have studied from me. So I am going to first of all calculate cos theta by 2. See, you have what? Can you calculate cos theta? Ma'am, cos theta is 1 upon 8. Using this, now tell me, cos theta by 2 is what? Square root 1 plus cos theta by 2. Everybody? Yes or no? So cos theta by 2 from here will be what? Square root 1 plus 1 by 8 upon 2. So from here your cos theta by 2. Cos theta by 2. Tell me. Ma'am, it is going to be 16 and eventually 9. 9 by 16. Right? 9 by 16 kya? 1 plus, oops, have I done something wrong over here? See, I have cos theta and I want cos theta by 2, right? Yes. Yes, cos theta by 2 is 3 by 4. 3 by 4, right? Correct? Yes. Cos theta by 2 is 3 by 4. Now, one more time I am going to apply the same technique. So, now cos theta by 4 is what? Square root of 1 plus 3 by 4 by 2. So now it is going to be what? Tell me, ma'am. Root 7 upon 2 root 2 is cos theta by 4. Now cos theta by 4 you have, correct? So you can again draw this thing. So 2 root 2 is this, root 7 is this. So it is going to be 1. So what is the value of tan theta by 4? Tell me. Ma'am, it is going to be root 7. So this is your theta, right? Oops. This is 1 and this is root 7 and this is your 1. So now tan theta from here, tell me, ma'am, 1 upon root 7. Tan theta from this triangle is what? Tell me, ma'am, 1 upon root 7. Option B is absolutely right. Okay, now 7 properties we are 7 or 5. Okay. Yes, 7 properties we are going to study. So after studying 7 properties now, and then 2 like important category questions. Okay, 7 properties plus 1 actually summation series I am talking about. So 1 summation series will finish, and after that your ITF will get over. So we'll start with properties one by one now. Okay, now is the time we should start property. Now property number 1. Property number 1 is something which you have already studied subconsciously with me and you have applied it already. Okay, so this is nothing but sine inverse minus x. Suppose you get sine inverse minus half. What do? So you do, ma'am, sine inverse minus half. What is sine inverse half? 30 degree, pi by 6. Sine inverse minus half is minus pi by 6. You do that or not? So exactly, sine inverse minus x is actually minus sine inverse x. Same goes with tan inverse minus x is equals to minus tan inverse x, and cosec inverse minus x is equals to minus cosec inverse x, but make sure that your x should be in your domain. Okay, just like sine inverse minus pi, which is not valid. Here your x should be lying between minus 1 and 1. So sine inverse, tan inverse, cosec inverse are from same category. Because, why? Because their range is same, na? Tell me the range of sine inverse, ma'am. Minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. First and fourth quadrant. All are from first and fourth quadrant category. And this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 except 0. Okay, now this cos inverse x. Okay, cos inverse minus x, cot inverse minus x, sec inverse minus x. We just did it right now, by the way. Cot inverse minus 3 by 4. We wrote pi minus cot inverse 3 by 4, right? So in here, cos inverse, cot inverse, sec inverse, what is the range, ma'am? Cos inverse range is 0 to pi close. Cot inverse is 0 to pi open. Sec inverse 0 to pi close except pi by 2. That is why this is pi minus something. Okay. So now just quickly tell me the value of these 3 things. Property number 1 is clear, no? No, like this is no difficult. Sine inverse minus half is minus sine inverse half, ma'am. Now the property se to we are very clear, ma'am. Minus pi by 6. 2 cot inverse minus 3. So cot inverse, now what will you do? Pi minus cot inverse root 3. And cot inverse root 3 will be what? Tell me, ma'am. That means cot theta root 3. Tan theta 1 by root 3. Pi by 6. So 2 times pi minus pi by 6. So 10 pi by 6. 5 pi by 3. Okay, now you tell me the third one quickly. cos inverse, okay, sin 90 minus something is, acha, cos inverse, or what you can do is, actually this in minus sign will get plus, no? Sin inverse root 3 by 2, 60 degree, pi by 2, so sin pi by 2 plus pi by 6, correct? Sin 90 plus is cos pi by 6, cos 30 degree. Cos 30 degree is what? Root 3 by 2 only. Huh? Oops, I have done something wrong, no? Sin inverse root 3 by 2, 60 degree. 60 degree. This is pi by 3. Pi by 3, yes. And this is cos of pi by 3. Cos 60 degree is half. Half is correct. Oops, my bad. Half. Okay. So now this is correct. Okay, so first property is easy. Will you rate this property as easy or difficult? Tell me. 7 properties now will rate also. Every property you need to rate. And it should be independent. It should not be like that one student is saying easy and other student is also saying easy. It is your unbiased opinion, huh? That I feel this property is easy. I feel this property is difficult. So Vishal is saying easy. What about others? Easy. Now property number 2. Property number 2 is sine of sine inverse x. Okay. And property number 3 is sine inverse sine x. Okay. Understand? In property number 2, you have in ITF inside. And in property number 3, you have inverse outside. Okay. So now what will be the difference? What will be the difference of the meaning? First of all, sine of sine inverse x. What will be the domain? So ma'am, domain is applicable on x. And x is inside sine inverse. So clearly domain is -1 to 1. Okay. And now understand, if domain is restricted, no? If domain is restricted, first of all, see sine inverse x, the output. If I talk about the output, tell me. Ma'am, sine inverse x output is an angle. Okay, so this will become an angle. And sine of angle, so this is sine theta, right? This is sine theta. Correct? So this is sine theta. So sine theta is what? Sine theta, the range of sine theta, ma'am, range of sine theta is -1 to 1 only. So output is also -1 to 1. are saved. Okay, but if there is inverse trigonometric function outside, then you are cooked, bro. Then you are cooked. So whenever you see ITF inside, before solving the question, pray to God, thank God. Oh, be grateful for God or for the universe for being kind to you. Because directly you can write X, directly you can write X, directly you can write X, directly you can write X. Did you understand the reason why? Because this X already is restricted now. So if the domain is restricted now, you don't have to worry about anything. If your domain becomes random, then you have to worry, okay? So property number 2, whenever you have inverse trigonometric function, see, these are the graph. This is the graph of y is equals to sine inverse x. This is equals to x for x belongs to -1 to 1. So for -1 to 1, this is the graph. Same for cos also. This is the graph of y is equals to cos of cos inverse x. Same graph. Okay. Now what about this graph of y is equals to tan of tan inverse x? Okay, because here the x can be anything, x belongs to all real, and the same graph of cot inverse x. And the rest two will be the graph of cosec inverse x, and y is equals to sec of sec inverse x. Here the domain will be what? Tell me. X mod x greater than or equals to 1. That means greater than or equals to 1, less than or equals to 1. -1, right? So these are the 3 graphs, and you don't have to remember the graphs, but it will give you a better clarity. So property 2 is not very difficult. Now just rate this property. Easy or difficult? Rate this property. Easy, है ना? Okay. Now property number 3. When inverse trigonometric function is outside. Okay. So, understand. Here x, if I talk about x is inside sine x or sine theta. What is the domain? Ma'am, domains. Just don't consider this, only this. Ma'am, sine theta or sine x or cos theta, cos x, tan theta. All the domains are all real values except the tan. Tan mein theta cannot be pi by 2 or odd pi by 2. Okay, but you know what? The domain majority is all real values. Just 1 or 2 values are removed. Okay, but sine inverse sine x. So in here, x is all real values. X is all real values. Right? So if I tell you sine inverse sine of 5 pi by 6. Are you here, Ibu? Tell me, what is the value? You can't write pi by 6. Sorry, you can't write 5 pi by 6. First of all, why ma'am? Why we can't write 5 pi by 6? Because, can you tell me, the sine inverse over here can only give output either in first or fourth quadrant. Remember, y is equals to sine inverse x. What is the range? What is the output? Ma'am, minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So what you need to do is, first of all, the sine 5 pi by 6 now, you have to write the equivalent angle in either first quadrant or in fourth quadrant. So 5 pi by 6, tell me. Ma'am, 5 pi by 6, that means second quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is positive. So now, my preferred quadrants, see, this is your 5 pi by 6. Obviously, your answer should be either first or fourth. Now, 5 pi by 6 sine is positive. So now, which quadrant will you select? Fourth, so you can't select, na, negative. See, you want to select equivalent angle, which will give you the same value. So sine 5 pi by 6 will be same as sine pi by 6. And now what you can do is, now you can write it as pi by 6 because the output over here should lie between minus pi by 4 to plus pi by 4. So can you see over here, sine inverse sine x will give you x if your x is already, see suppose instead of 5 pi by 6, if it was already in the question pi by 6, if this was the original question, then you don't have to worry, na? Because pi by 6 is something which is already in first and fourth quadrant, which is already over here. So directly you can write this. So now this property number 3 says that sine inverse sine x will become x if your x is lying in principal values of the range of sine inverse. Okay, cos inverse cosec, so it is 0 to pi. So all these things, can you see, can you notice, this is the range of all the respective inverse function. Okay, if it is coming in the range, then you can write directly x. But if it is not coming, then what you have to do is, then you have to study this. What is this, ma'am? Now you have to study all the graphs, all the 6 graphs. Property number 3 is something which is a time-taking thing. Okay, so make sure, I think we will need 20 minutes to finish this only property, and then 10 minutes to solve the questions. Okay, ready? I need your focus. This is going to take some time, some energy, some effort. Okay, but I'll make sure I'll make things easy for you. I'll make sure that the graph are also something which is like you'll be able to remember. In the end, I give you a trick also, na, how to remember the graph. Okay, so right now your focus should be, let's understand this. Then we'll study the trick. First of all, see, understand. Y is equals to sine inverse sine x. When inverse trigonometric function is outside, what to do? So, ma'am, y is equals to sine inverse sine x will become x when x is lying between minus 90 to plus 90. So, let's do one thing, ma'am. You're trying to draw the graph now. Let's do one thing. Let's just fix this graph from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Y is equals to x graph. This is minus pi by 2. This is plus pi by 2. And this is the line. Y is equals to x line. Okay, can you see? Okay, pi by 2 you are getting, pi by 2, y is equals to x. On x-axis also we have angles, on y-axis we have angles. So we put the angles, we get the angles, both in property 2, property 3. You realize we are putting the angles, we are putting in property number 2, we were putting the values, we were getting the values. Property number 3, putting the angles, getting the angles. So angles on x-axis, angles on y-axis. But obviously, sine inverse output is restricted between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. That is why y-axis is just minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. But x-axis, sine inverse sine x, because there is sine x involved, and inside sine, every angle you can put, 30 degree, 300 degree, 400 degree. So on the x-axis, all the angles we have made. Okay, so this is clear now. This is clear. Now, suppose we just did it. Suppose your angle is in second quadrant, 5 pi by 6. Suppose your angle is in second quadrant, sine 5 pi by 6. What did you do? Tell me. Ma'am, if angle is in second quadrant, in sine what happens? Second quadrant, we need to shift immediately to the first quadrant. Because second quadrant, if the angle is there, the match we will get in first. Because 5 pi by 6 is equivalent to pi by 6. Why we are doing this? Why we are not transporting in fourth quadrant? Tell me. Because ma'am, fourth quadrant values are negative now. See, first and second quadrant, both values are positive. So, sine 5 by pi by 6 will be equivalent to sine pi by 6. What is the operation you do to shift this angle from first quadrant to second to first? So, ma'am, it is very easy. Just do pi minus. So, if your x over here is 5 pi by 6, so tell me, sine inverse sine 5 pi by 6. So, your answer will be what directly, ma'am? Pi minus 5 pi by 6. Pi by 6. So, basically, your sine inverse sine x will become what, ma'am? Pi minus x. This is for x belongs to. This is for x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And this is for x belongs to second quadrant, which is pi by 2, and third quadrant also, which is pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2. With a single operation, second quadrant I am talking about. Second quadrant is this. So this graph will be pi minus x. Y is equals to pi minus x. Now pi minus x. Understand, y is equals to x is this line which is having 45-degree angle. Now pi minus x is this particular line which is having slope 135-degree inclination, slope -1. And you know what? It will intersect y-axis at the point. Remember? So pi will be the intersection point. This and this. Clear? Okay. So from pi by 2 to 3 pi by 2, your thing is pi minus x if you are in second and third quadrant. Now if your angle inside this is lying in fourth quadrant, then what will happen? It will become what? It will become 2 pi plus x. Can you see this? 2 pi plus x. 2 pi plus x. Can you see this? 2 pi? 2 pi plus x. Okay, so let me tell you. Y is equals to x. Now you have to just add pi in it and change the sign of x. So see, x was there. So next graph will be what? Next graph will be what? Ma'am, this was x. So now it will become minus x and add pi. Next, it will be add pi. So 2 pi and plus x. 2 pi plus x. And you know what? This graph is exactly similar to your sin x graph also. See, let me tell you. Sin x graph, what was the graph? So ma'am, sin x graph was this. Okay, it started with 0 and it is just that it is a triangular version of sin x. Don't you feel? This is triangular version of sin x. So now you just need to know that where exactly your angle is. Sine inverse sine 1. Tell me, 1 lies where? Ma'am, 0 to pi by 2. Pi by 2 is 1.57. So sine inverse sine 1. 1 is lying in first quadrant. So this will become just 1. Start solving questions now. Okay. Sine inverse sine 2. Ma'am, 2. Hold on. So this is 0. This is pi by 2, which is 1.57. This is 3.14. So 2 lies in second quadrant. Sine inverse sine 2 will become pi minus 2. Okay. First quadrant mein you will get exactly same. First quadrant, second quadrant mein. Second and third quadrant both. Pi minus 2. Now this is sine inverse sine 3. Which quadrant? Tell me. Ma'am, which quadrant? Hold on. 3. So 3 is also, ma'am, second quadrant. So it is pi minus 3. Okay. Now 4. So ma'am, 4 clearly. So 3.14. No. This is 3 pi by 2. So 3 pi by 2, that means 3 multiply this. So 4 point something. 4 point something. So 4 is lying in third quadrant. Ma'am, in third quadrant also it is pi minus 4. Second and third, both quadrants, you will get pi minus x. Okay. Now sine inverse sine 5. See, this is 3.14. This is 6.28. So 5 is lying in which quadrant, ma'am? Now we are at fourth quadrant. Now things will get changed. So now it will become 2 pi minus x. So this is 2 pi minus 5. And sine inverse sine 10. Oops. 10. 10 is exactly where? 10 is the value of 10. Can you see approximately 3 pi? So 3 pi. So the see, first pi, first, second quadrant. And then see, these two will be same angles. And this is your 2 pi. So this will be your 2 pi minus x. Correct? 3 pi will lie over here. Now see, this is 2 pi minus x. Now 3 pi plus x. 3 pi plus x. This one will be 3 pi plus x. See, understand. First of all, here y is equals to x. Ma'am, here it will be pi minus x. Here it will be again 2 pi plus x. And next will be what? 3 pi minus x. Now tell me, this was 0, 1.57, 3.14, okay, which is pi. Okay, then this is 6.28, this is 2 pi. And now 3 pi will be here. 3 pi is nothing but here, which is 3 pi is what? 10 point something, right? So we are having here. So 3 pi minus x, so this is 3 pi minus 10. Easy now? Now it is easy. 2 pi plus 5, yes, 2 pi plus 5. Oops, yes, 2 pi plus 5. Got it? Have a look. Hold on, this is minus 2 pi, okay? Sorry. This is pi, minus 2 pi, no? Yes, this is minus 2 pi. So minus 2 pi. Okay. So this is pi minus x. Then this is minus 2 pi. See, both the sign will get reversed. You add pi. So this will be 2 pi minus x. Now reverse it. So this will be 2 pi minus x. Now this will be what? 3 pi minus x. Next will be minus 4 pi plus x. Like that. Sorry, my bad. Okay. So I think this one will be what? 5 minus 2 pi. Ready for cos inverse cos x? Ready for cos inverse cos x? Okay. Cos inverse cos x will be equals to x for x belongs to 0 to pi. Because now in cos inverse, understand, what is the output of cos inverse, ma'am? 0 to pi. So for 0 to pi, so now this is again, x-axis is also all angles, y-axis is 0 to pi over here. Y-axis will be 0 to pi. This is how you have to plot the graph. Okay, in sine inverse, what we did minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So now, obviously, your graph will be completely above the x-axis. Why? Because y is equals to cos inverse something. No? So output will be 0 to pi. That is why completely above the x-axis. Whereas in sine inverse x, what was there? This is a zigzag graph. Although this graph you will remember because this is a similar graph to sine x. This graph is slightly different. We need to understand this. Now 0 to pi. So if your input is 0 to pi, then this is also y is equals to x line. Okay, so y is equals to x. Now what about this? This is, now understand, this line. Next, first and second quadrant. This is first and second quadrant. Now second and third quadrant. This is second and third quadrant. Second and third quadrant will be what? 2 pi minus x. Okay, see, understand, this line will intersect y-axis at positive 2 pi. That's why this is 2 pi. And what about this? See, ma'am, this is your, what do we say, 45 degree. And you know what, this is what? If you just go this, if you just make this down, this is 2 pi plus x. Yes or no? This is 2 pi plus x. X plus, this is 2 pi minus x, and this is, okay. All right, now cos inverse cos 1, tell me, cos inverse cos 1. Cos inverse cos 1, so ma'am, 1 is in first quadrant anyway, it will give you just 1. Cos inverse cos 2. So ma'am, cos inverse cos 2. Now this 2 lies in second quadrant, first and second quadrant, both we are getting x. Cos inverse cos 3, ma'am, again, can you see first and, when you stay in first and second quadrant, the first three things are very easy. Now cos inverse cos 4, this is your third quadrant. So this will become 2 pi minus 4. Okay, cos inverse cos 5. So 5 will lie where exactly? Tell me. So ma'am, see, this is your 4. Now 4 will lie somewhere. This is 3, 4. This is your 4. And where is 5? 5 is also here. So 2 pi minus 5. And this is cos inverse cos 10. So 10 will lie somewhere over here, here or here. So 10 will be here. So this is 2 pi plus 10. Oops, maybe I have done this. Okay, hold on. This is plus 2 pi. This is minus. This one is plus x and minus 2 pi. Yes, this one is a negative sign. Yes, this is x minus 2 pi. So now the 10 is what? So this is minus 2 pi plus 10. Yes, Nithilan, absolutely right. Okay, so let me just conclude because of something we have done this. Okay, so this is what? Y is equals to x. See, just start writing like this. See, this is y is equals to x, then 2 pi plus x. Then it is, next one will be what? Minus 2 pi plus x. This is minus 4 pi plus x. Right? So can you see this is y is equals to x. So 0 plus x. Okay, then minus 2 pi plus x, then minus 4 pi plus x. Okay, now this one, pi minus x, correct? This is 3 pi minus x. The next will be what? 5 pi minus x. Sign clear, everybody? If sign is clear, then we have cos inverse, right? So it is x, then minus 2 pi plus x. Okay, so this is what? 2 pi minus x minus 2 pi plus x. The next thing will be what? 4 pi. 4 pi minus x. And this will be what? Minus 4 pi plus x. Like that. Okay. See, if the graph is right here, you are able to do that. But if graph will go away, you won't be able to do that. Make sure that you understand how to plot the graph. Okay. Now see, tan inverse tan x, this is so easy. Because there are all the lines are parallel. First of all, tan inverse tan x will be equals to x for x belongs to minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. Okay, so minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, y is equals to x line, open bracket. That's why this hollow circles. Now you just have to keep on drawing parallel lines like this. And if you draw parallel lines, it is what? See. So this is again slope is 45 degree 1. So this is x minus pi. This is what? X minus 2 pi. Okay, and this is next will be x minus 3 pi and so on. The left one will be x plus pi, then it will be x plus 2 pi in the negative side. Here, tan inverse tan 1, first quadrant means 1. Tan inverse tan 2, 2 is lying over here, second quadrant, x minus pi. So this is 2 minus pi. Tan inverse tan 3. So ma'am, 3 lies over here again, 3 minus pi. 4, where is 4? So ma'am, 4 is somewhere over here. So again 4 minus pi. 5 is what? Where? 5 is somewhere over here. See, this is 4.5. 5 will be here. So x minus 2 pi, 5 minus 2 pi. And where will be 10? Tell me. Where will be 10? So ma'am, 10 will be, if you draw 2 pi, it will become 3 pi. So 10 will be around this. 10 minus 3 pi. Okay, alrighty. So I think 3 graphs we have studied till now. Sin inverse wala is similar to sin x. Cos inverse x wala is completely above the x-axis and draw the y is equals to x line in first and second quadrant and then zigzag, zigzag. Here, draw the parallel lines. Tan inverse tan x is draw the parallel lines which is lying between minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. But in cot inverse, again same thing. You have to draw the parallel lines but completely above the x-axis. Why? Because the output of cot inverse x will be for 0 to pi. So 0 to pi parallel lines, and then keep on drawing it. So this is y is equals to x from 0 to pi. Then this is what? Tell me, y is equals to minus pi plus x. Then it is y is equals to minus 2 pi plus x, parallel lines with plus x as this. So this is a periodic function. This is your cot inverse x. Now the good news is sec inverse is exactly same as cos, and cosec inverse is exactly same as sin inverse. Is just that only the difference between cos inverse and sec inverse is that at pi by 2 it is not allowed. So you can't put pi by 2. Cos inverse cos pi by 2 is allowed, but sec inverse sec pi by 2 is not allowed. That's why you will just see a hollow circle over here. Rest everything will be the same. And can you see it is the same graph as sin x, cosec inverse. Cosec, same graph as sin x. Is just that you can't put 0 inside cosec 0 is not defined. That is why it is happening. Now we have to do one question, because property 3 we have done. Now is the time we should do a question. Okay, and you know what this question will do? Will plot our own graphs. Okay, will not take the help of existing graph, will plot the own graphs. Okay, so sin inverse sin 9. So now we have to plot the graph. So this is like this, y is equals to x. This is minus pi by 2 plus pi by 2. Then you have to come down. So this is what? 3 pi by 2. Correct? Okay, and then it has to go up. So see, this is your pi, this is your 2 pi. Then it has to come down. This is your 3 pi. 9 will come over here. So what do you want? You want the equation of this line. So this is y is equals to x. Now what is this, ma'am? Y is equals to, see, this line will intersect at positive pi. So y is equals to, and 130 pi minus x. What is this line? You don't have to actually write any of the lines. You just want this line, right? So ma'am, this is 135 degree. So y is equals to minus x, and it will intersect y axis at 3 pi plus 3 pi. Minus x plus 3 pi. So minus 3 pi minus 9 basically. Minus cos inverse cos 15. Cos inverse cos 15. So now draw the graph. So ma'am, it will be y is equals to x from 0 to pi. Then pi to 2 pi. It will be like this. Then this is 3 pi. Okay, this is 4 pi. Then this is 5 pi. Can you see 5 pi is 15? So we have to look for this thing. So clearly y is equals to 45 degree x. And you know what? Minus. What is this? Tell me. So ma'am, this is y is equals to x. Then this is 2 pi minus x. This is 2 pi minus 2 pi plus x, right? This is minus 2 pi plus x. This one will be what? Ma'am, negative x, and it is what? 2 pi, then this is 3 pi. This is your 4 pi, ma'am. So yes, this is x, and you know what? This is 4 pi, ma'am. So minus 4 pi, x minus 4 pi. Correct? X minus 4 pi. So this is 15 minus 4 pi. So 7 pi minus 24. Correct? 7 pi minus 24, is it correct? Tell me. Tell me, is it easy or difficult? Now what do you think? Will you be able to do one question if I'll give you? And no cheating, you don't have to cheat. Because in exam, nobody will give you graph, that see the graph and then draw. So if you forget that zigzag thing, then it will be a trouble. So I think zigzag thing you won't forget, because if your domain and range is absolutely clear, then I think slightly, if you forgetting also, na, you will be on track. You'll be like, acha, I'm drawing cos graph. It will be completely above the x-axis because 0 to pi. The moment you realize 0 to pi, so 0 to pi, if you start realizing, so you'll be like, acha, now I can go zigzag, zigzag, like that. So a little hint from that can give you the things. Okay, JEE Main 2024 question, let's draw. Sin inverse sin 5. Option 2. Sin inverse sin 5 will become 2 pi 5 minus 2 pi. And this will become 2 pi minus 5. I'm not plotting the graph. I'm just giving you the answers now. 5 minus 2 pi whole square plus 5 minus 2 pi whole square. So 225 plus 4 pi square minus 20 pi. So it is 8 pi square minus 40 pi plus 50. Done, done, done. Done, 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 done. Okay. So now property 1, property 2, property 3 we have already discussed, right? What was property 1? Tell me. Ma'am, property 1 was very easy. it was similar like sine inverse minus x is minus sine inverse x. Then cosec inverse minus x was minus cosec inverse x. And same goes with tan inverse minus x is minus tan inverse x. These two are same thing. These three are same thing. Now, cos inverse, sec inverse and cot inverse. In this category, if you have cos inverse minus x, you will get pi minus cos inverse x. This was property number 1. Property number 2 was also very easy. It was sine of sine inverse x. When we get inverse trigonometric function inside bracket, directly write x, no need to do anything. Now, property number 3 is something which we need to work around. We have seen graphs. And now, after property number 3, which is important, you can see that in previous year papers, they have asked questions from property number 3. Okay, that is important. And one more thing we have seen that interconversion of trigonometric function, that topic is also important for ITF. Okay, so now we are going to study property number 4. Property number 4. Everybody? Okay, clear? Chalo. So now property number 4 is also very popular property. This will be useful in all the upcoming chapters also. That sine inverse x plus cos inverse x is nothing but pi by 2. But the condition is x should be lying in domain minus 1 to 1. And similar, cosec inverse x plus sec inverse x is also pi by 2. But the condition is x should be lying in domain, that is mod x greater than or equals to 1. And tan inverse x plus cot inverse x is also pi by 2 over here. But here x, domain of x is not restricted, it is all real values. So let me prove one such property. Which property do you want me to prove? First property I'll prove. Okay. So sine inverse x, I am taking it as theta. Okay. So what will happen? Tell me. Ma'am, sine inverse, ma'am, from here we can write, if this is your theta, na? So cos inverse x now will become pi by 2 minus theta. Yes or no? Okay, now tell me. If sine inverse x is theta, then theta lies in which quadrant? Tell me. Ma'am, theta lies in obviously na minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 principal range, right? The output is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. If you put minus pi by 2, what will you get, ma'am? If I put minus pi by 2 in place of theta, I'll get pi. And if you put pi by 2, I'll get 0. That means that this particular pi by 2 minus theta will always lie in 0 to pi. We don't have to worry. This cos inverse x output is already we don't have to do anything. It is already in that output range. It is already in the permissible value. So what you can do is, if cos inverse x is equals to pi by 2 minus theta, what you can do is you can take cos both the sides. So cos of cos inverse x is equals to cos of pi by 2 minus theta, taking cos both the sides. Why we can take cos both the sides? Because the right hand side is already 0 to pi. Okay. So now what you can do is cos inverse cos x. See, x is already minus 1 to 1. So cos inverse cos x will become x, and this is going to give you what? Pi by 2 minus theta. Cos, here this is nothing but sine theta, sorry. Cos 90 minus theta is what? X is equals to sine theta, but this is what we have got. What am I doing? It is not proving anything. Hold on. Cos inverse x is pi by 2 minus theta. Oops, I think it has got proved. This. Oops, no need to do this also. I think it is very easy. Sine inverse x is theta. So x is what? Ma'am, x is equals to sine theta. Now sine theta can be written as cos 90 minus theta. Yes, ma'am. Okay, now take cos inverse both the sides. Why cos inverse? Because now we want cos inverse x. Cos inverse cos will be pi by 2 minus theta. So now can you see that cos inverse x plus theta. Theta is nothing but sine inverse x is equals to pi by 2. Now you get it. Now you get it. Okay. So what did I do? Sine inverse x is equals to theta. So x will be sine theta. Sine theta is cos 90 minus theta. What I did is I just took an inverse. what I told you, see sin inverse x I have taken as theta. Okay, sin inverse x is theta, where theta is belonging to minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Okay, now x is equals to sin theta. Now sin I am writing as cos 90 minus theta and taking inverse both the sides. So cos inverse x will become pi by 2 minus sin inverse x. In the next step, call sin inverse x on the left hand side and you will get your answer. Easy? Yes, now the second and third you have to do on your own. I am going to give you a question right here. This is a JEE Main PYQ. Everybody JEE Main PYQ. Okay, so just solve it till I charge my mic. One question on property 4. By the way, are you able to figure out that whenever there is sin inverse x and cos inverse s together in one equation, it is so obvious that I have to convert something, and I think I should do this. Plus 3 pi by 2 minus sin inverse. I don't know how many of you were able to put this. Huh? It was so obvious or not? How many of you were able to do that? Okay. So now this is what? 2 sin inverse minus 3 sin inverse. 2 sin minus 3 sin. So minus sin inverse x is equals to 2 pi by 5 minus 3 pi by 2. Sin inverse x is what? 10. 4 minus 15. So minus 11 pi. Okay. So minus sin inverse. Minus cancel. So sin inverse x. Okay. So what is x? Tell me. The number of real solution. X is equals to what? Sin 11 pi by 10. Sin 11. Hold on. How can this be possible? Sin 11. Not possible. Not possible, bro. Not possible. Not possible, na? Because see, this is going out of the range. 11 pi by 10 is greater than pi. Sin inverse x can never be greater than pi. Greater than pi is the very difficult thing. So how many number of real solutions? 0 number of real solution. Yes. Okay. All right. One more question. One more question you'll do, and then we'll move on to property number 5. Solve. Property number 5. Sin inverse x square minus cos inverse x square. Remember that. How many of you saw my reel, by the way? I was a student. 16 minus 9. 16 minus 9, 4 square minus 3 square. Huh? 4 square minus 3 square is what? 4 plus 3. Huh? And 4 minus 3. Okay, so a square minus b square apply. Okay, so this is pi by 2. This is sin inverse minus cos inverse, right? What we will do is, we need to either, now first of all understand, sometimes we need to check what do we want in life. Do we want sin inverse or cos inverse? Because both we can get. Either I'll convert this cos inverse in terms of sin, or this sin inverse in terms of cos, right? But what do we want? We want 2x square minus 1. Okay, 2x square minus 1. Okay, so let's do one thing this time. I don't know, but and can you see that? Okay, so I will convert this time into cos inverse. Let's see. If not, then we'll come back. We'll redo it. Okay, and why I am going to tell you that also. Why, ma'am, you pick cos inverse this time? 2a by pi, right? 2a by pi. So can you tell me the value of cos inverse x, ma'am? Pi by 4 minus a by pi. A by pi is equals to cos inverse x. Yes or no? So x is equals to cos of pi by 4 minus a by pi. X is what? Suppose I mark this as theta. So cos x is equals to what? Tell me, ma'am. X is equals to cos theta. Right or wrong? X is equals to cos theta. I put cos theta over here. So 2 cos square theta minus 1 is equals to what? Ma'am, cos 2 theta. Now you just have to put the value of theta. So this is cos of pi by 2 minus 2a by pi actually. And cos 90 minus theta is what? Sin 2a upon pi. Sin 2a upon pi. Option B is absolutely correct. Okay, all right. Now, who can tell me, acha? Who can tell me? I know that you will find difficulty, ma'am. If I would have at your place, I would have converted cos inverse x in terms of sin inverse. How many of you think like that? I think mostly. But ma'am, why did you specifically chose cos inverse? Why did I specifically chose cos inverse? That's my question. That now after solving it, are you able to realize there is some hint given over here? There is some hint given over here. Okay, there is some, and I completely agree, ma'am, we can't think that far away. That hint is there. No. 0 to 1, what is this hint? This is the hint. Can you see that if x is sine theta over here, if x is sine theta, 2 sine square theta minus 1, there is no formula. But if x is cos theta, then we have a formula. So that's why I thought that why not calculate cos inverse x. Okay, eventually I wanted cos x is equals x in terms of cos. X should be in terms of cos. I want x in terms of cos. So cos is relevant over here. Okay. Otherwise, you will be stuck. Otherwise, you will get stuck. And then you'll come back and then domain. Domain is same, na? Domains are there is no problem with domain. Sine, cos, sine inverse, cos inverse, domain is same only. Okay. So I think this question you can redo. We'll move towards property number 5 now. So property number 5 says that, okay, property number 5 is actually, see, understand, this is quite intuitive. We have done this. Tell me, if your sine inverse 1 by 2, can I write cosec inverse 2 over here? Yes or no? Because inside sine inverse, what do you write? Values. So sine inverse half will be, and you'll get angle. Angle will be what? You will think about when exactly my sine inverse, when exactly my sine theta becomes half. Ma'am, sine theta becomes half at pi by 6. And here also you think same thing, ma'am. Cosec inverse 2 means when exactly my cosec theta becomes 2. That means sine theta is equals to half. Same question, same answer. Okay, so this property is based on same thing. Cosec inverse x is equals to what? Sine inverse 1 by x. Sine inverse x is equals to cosec inverse 1 by x. Easy peasy, okay? And in here you know that cosec inverse and sine inverse output, the range. Can anybody tell me the range? Cosec inverse and sine inverse range, minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 both. They follow the same pattern except 0 is there. But yes, they are from same bracket, same branch, same category. Similarly, sec inverse and cosec inverse. These two are also equal because sec inverse range is also 0 to pi. Cos inverse range also 0 to pi. So sec inverse x is 1, cos inverse 1 by x, cos inverse x is sec inverse 1 by x. Now what about this? What about this? Cot inverse x. Okay. Cot inverse x is equal to tan inverse x only if they are lying in first quadrant. Why? Because see, understand, cot inverse x is actually the output is 0 to pi, and tan inverse x, the output is minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. So I can clearly see that the first quadrant is an overlap. That means when x is positive, we can write such things. But if x is negative, so cot inverse x will be equals to tan inverse 1 by x when your x is positive. But if your x is negative, so cot inverse x is negative, right? Cot inverse x will be equals to pi plus tan inverse 1 by x. Why we are adding pi? Understand. See, here tan inverse x, because x is negative, so tan inverse 1 by x will lie in what? Fourth quadrant. So minus pi by 2 to 0. Now you want to push this value, and this is cot inverse x. These two values will become equal. See, let me tell you, this is tan inverse, let's suppose 1 by root 3, minus root 3. Okay, and this is cot inverse minus root 3. So cot inverse minus root 3 will be what? Tell me. So ma'am, cot inverse minus root 3 will be equal to lying in second quadrant. This is in second quadrant. So this is pi plus pi by 6. Pi minus pi by 6, sorry. And what about this? This is minus pi by 6. Okay. So what we are doing is minus pi by 6 will get replaced by tan inverse minus 1 by 3. So it will be cot inverse is equals to pi plus. Cot inverse is equals to pi plus. So in second quadrant, this is negative value, no? Tan inverse 1 by x will be a negative value. So you are adding pi to it. Adding pi to negative value will shift this whole thing in second quadrant finally. And cot inverse x is equals to second quadrant is good. is good. Cot inverse negative x is what? Second quadrant. So only the fifth property, that too this part you have to keep in mind. This is very important. Okay. Alrighty. Yes. Ready for property number 6. How many of you ready for property number 6? Because after property number 6, we are going to solve some problems. Oops, I don't know. How long can the class be? Let's see. Property number 6. Property number 6 says tan inverse x plus tan inverse y. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equals to tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy. First of all, understand, do you remember that tan a plus b is what? Tan inverse, tan a plus b upon 1 plus ab. Like that. Sorry, not that. Tan a plus tan b, what am I doing? Tan a plus tan b. Tan a plus tan b whole upon 1 minus tan a tan b. Same thing is happening over here. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, similar. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equal to tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy. Can you see sum upon 1 minus product? So sum upon 1 minus product. When xy is less than 0. Sorry, xy is less than 1. So then the product. So you have to take the product of x and y. If that is coming less than 1, directly apply this formula. If that is coming greater than 1, condition that both x and y are positive, then you have to add pi to it. Okay. And you know what? If x and y is negative, now I to never use this one. Okay. When x and y is negative, so we know that when x and y is negative, now you just take minus sign out already. Right. So I think majority these two formulas you have to remember. Tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equals to tan inverse x plus y upon 1 minus xy, and tan inverse x plus tan inverse y is equals to pi plus same thing. Okay, we'll solve problems, you will get to know. And if at all tan inverse x minus tan inverse y is there, so just apply a negative sign, and the best part is there is no such condition, only one formula. Okay, this is very, very, very important formula, because if you see sum of two inverse trigonometric ratio in any question, we are going to use this formula. Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you. See this, suppose tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3. Okay, so now tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2. So ma'am, if you just do the product, you will get 2, which is greater than 1. Greater than 1 means you have to put pi plus tan inverse 1 plus 2 upon 1 minus 1 into 2. This is the formula. Okay, plus tan inverse 3 was right here. So this is pi plus tan inverse what? Tell me. So this is what? Tan inverse minus 3. And this is plus tan inverse 3. And you know what? Tan inverse minus something is minus tan inverse something. Remember property number 1. Okay. So minus tan inverse 3 plus tan inverse 3 cancel. This is going to be pi. Okay. Right. So you need to remember tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 is equals to pi. Similarly, tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2. Tell me, the product, ma'am, is half, which is less than 1. Now, less than 1 means you don't have to add pi. Directly apply the formula tan inverse 1 plus half upon 1 minus product. Plus tan inverse 1 by 3 was already there. Okay, so this is tan inverse. This is going to be 3 by 2 and 1 by 2. So 3 plus tan inverse 1 by 3. Okay, tan inverse 3 plus tan inverse 1 by 3. Okay, now understand. Correct kya? 3 by 2, 1 by 3. Now if you can, tan inverse 3, oops. Yes, tan inverse 3 is what? Cot inverse 1 by 3 plus cot inverse plus tan inverse 1 by 3. That is going to be pi by 2. Okay. Alrighty. Yes. Perfecto. Now, let's do one question on property number 6 and then we'll talk about it. Okay, let's do one question. Property 6. Property 6. Okay, shall we do together? Shall we do together? Sine inverse 12 by 13. So whenever they give sine inverse, cos inverse, anything they give, I know only one formula. I will apply that formula. I don't care about sine inverse, cos inverse. So this is tan inverse. So obviously, if you mark this as theta, so this is 12, this is 13, so this is 5. So this is tan inverse 12 by 5. Okay, if sine theta is 12 by 13, so tan theta will be 12 by 5 plus. Cos inverse, you have to convert it into tan inverse. So this is your base, this is your hypotenuse. I want perpendicular upon base, so 3 by 4 plus tan inverse 63 by 16 is there. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, after that maybe we'll need one more session for ITF. Okay, this question I think will be done. One more session I'll take for property 7 and summation of series. Okay, chalo. So now tan inverse 12 by 5. Now we have to apply this in here. So just multiply these two and check whether xy is greater than 1 or less than 1. Okay. So ma'am, if you multiply 4 3s are 3 3s are 9, 9 by 5, that means greater than 1. Greater than 1 means pi plus tan inverse 12 by 5 plus 3 by 4 upon 1 minus 12 by 5 into 3 by 4. Okay, plus tan inverse 63 by 16 is right here. Okay, you know what? Now, obviously, you have an urge that, ma'am, 4 1s are 4, 4 3s are 12. I don't do that. I never do that because I want to take LCM. Okay, so I know you will try to cancel it, but don't cancel it. Okay, so this is pi plus tan inverse. Tell me, 20 minus 12 3s are what? 36. 20 minus 36 is minus 16. And this is 48 plus 15. 48 plus 15. Tell me. 48 plus 15 is 63. Oops. Oh. Plus tan inverse 63 by 16 was already there. Now we know this minus sign will come out because property number 1. In tan inverse, minus sign comes out. But in cos inverse, it doesn't happen. Right? It will be pi minus that. But in tan inverse, sine inverse and cosec inverse, in these three things, minus sign comes out. So now these two will get cancelled. This is just pi. So k value is equals to 1. Okay. K value is equal to 1. Everybody getting it? Yes, yes, yes. Now there is one question which I am going to give you as a homework. Okay. What shall I do? Shall I give JEE Advanced question as homework or shall I do it? Chalo, we should do it. Okay, let's see. We should do it. Or let's go this as homework. I'll continue with this in the second class, in the next class. Okay, because anyway we have less time. So now I think the one property is remaining and the summation series is also remaining. Make sure that you are practicing. So many things already. Okay, and yes. So the next part will be covered in the next video. And yes, you all know about the offers which is going on these days on the website, and also regarding MVSAT also. Okay, so make sure that the last date to register for MVSAT Mega Vedantu Scholarship Test is nothing but what do we say, 30th September, and the dates are 4th and something. Okay, let me just give it to you. Let me just tell you about MVSAT already. Is it visible? Yes, it's visible. Can you see? Yes, this is MVSAT. Register for MVSAT. You can see the dates are 4th, 5th, 11th and 12th October. And your syllabus, see, this is your centers. So you can